What is up, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and it's Sunday. That means this is at week's end. We're about to take a spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more, and it is a very exciting show. I know everyone's been talking about it all week, but I'm excited to finally dip my toes into it and discuss it in further with the panel tonight. We are going to be talking the DCU announcements from James Gunn, but before we do that, check this out. Huge shout out to the channel sponsor, Big Time Collectibles. We will be drawing for the winner of the January Legion Loot giveaway tonight, sponsored by Big Time Collectibles. Be sure to follow them at their website or on social media to never miss out on the awesome stuff they have going on. And if you ever need anything cleaned or pressed, be sure to hit up our good friend Justin over on Instagram for as little as $10 a book. He can hook it up. Let him know that you found him via the channel or hit him with the promo code We Are Legion and take advantage of that special offer that he's running for viewers of the channel. I believe currently he's still running the buy two, get one free, so do not miss out on that. Also, I do want to mention, since we are doing the channel membership giveaway tonight, don't forget the channel memberships are live. You can go down there and join the Legion and support the channel even further. You'll get the loyalty badges next to your name, the custom emojis as well. Depending on the tier you enter, the tier that you join, you'll be entered into that monthly Legion Loot giveaway, as well as other kickbacks. So I do want to thank all the channel members that we have at the moment. I believe there's 79 as of today. So thank you to all these kind people on the list. And I'm not going to sit there and name all of them, but there's so many that it would just take too long in that. So you can always go back and pause that video and check out some of those names, because a lot of those folks do content as well. Most of them at least have an Instagram. There's a few of them that I've only seen here on YouTube, but you can find most of those folks on social media, and definitely worth following because they are also lovers of the hobby, lovers of the collecting, and lovers of these stories. How are y'all doing tonight? Hello, Chris, the comic vet. Hello, Paul, the sector.
Good.
Doesn't work, this name.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But thank you for trying. It's all about the effort.
It is all about the effort.
But I'm guessing, since we don't have a lot of comics to talk about today, that this episode might be a little bit tonally different than we normally do.
It's going to be tonally different. We're going to touch on that.
Okay.
I come from Toronto. Not Toronto, Toronto.
No, we were 2 minutes late starting, because that's the normal start time for my show is 2 minutes late. But we were talking about an important word, tonally, and how it has everybody, and numerous big reviewers or channels that I've seen covering the DCU announcements completely off base on one of these announcements. And we're going to touch on that here in a little bit. I'm excited to do it. Let's say hey to some of the people in the chat.
Oh.
Hey. No.
Hey.
What is going on, Comics by the Bay? Wheelchair Superhero 87 recently joined the Legion. I appreciate that. We'll get your new member welcome packet out this Tuesday. TM Nerdy, what is going on, my guy? Las Crucias, I cannot believe you let them beat you. You let them beat you. And
wow.
It was listed in the stream earlier.
Come on, man. Come on.
But we had a new channel member join last night. It's the Topic Network joined the Legion as well, who's that's the home of like some of the biggest podcasts around. Like they do the Last of Us podcast, the Avatar podcast. Like they cover all of it under that one umbrella. And I had the privilege of hopping on with them last night at random. It was something. It was fun. So I'm looking forward to possibly getting to do some more chatting and streaming with them and stuff. Comiverse, what is happening? How are you tonight? Loki, Dragonborn, my good friend. Welcome. We got another channel member there. Nick, the comic nerd, how are you doing tonight? Hello. Collecting with Durs is in the building. Dr. Von Hoot from the Spiral Dimension. A lot of people
on YouTube.
Yeah, people travel great distances to get here. Paul's from the next sector over. Dr. Von Hoot's from the Spiral Dimension. I'm not sure which one's further, but neither one of them are close.
You guys came from pretty far, man.
Yeah. Promiscuous time traveler. What is going on, Kyle? This is one of my favorite people on the planet. I just love our interactions. He's one of the few people that I can just be an over-the-top smart aleck with, and he doesn't get upset. We just run all day long taking smart aleck pot shots at each other. I enjoy doing that. It's fun. Trev, the shipping guru, is in the building. What is going on, brother? How are you? Hello. Collecting with Dirt. People, there's a lot of chat tonight. Hey, look at here. Nick, the comic nerd, has joined the Legion. So Nick, I know we follow each other on IG, definitely hit me up and be sure to shoot me your address so that I can send you that new member welcome pack.
Welcome.
Yeah, Panda sent a little clip to celebrate you joining the channel. So yeah, that was sent specifically for you, Nick. So definitely appreciate it. And that was, of course, homaging Circumstance.
I didn't even get one of those, and Nick gets one. Like, good for you, Nick.
Was that Flick 68? Hello to you. Hello.
They're always updating the welcome packet. That's why, Chris. You've been on for too long.
Nick got a welcome.
Quit and then return.
Chris definitely got a welcome packet. DJ Links, what is going on? How are you doing tonight? Phil Ailing, hello. Officially Legion, Joe Baby, Lego
baby.
Lego my ego. Let's see, I don't want to miss people. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Flo, there we go. Flo. Hello, Flo. Hello, Pops. Hello, Norin. Man, hello, CJ. I feel like I just seen you. Hello. And we got a $5 super chat from CJ. No. It's Comics by the Bay. I just seen the $5 super chat up top as well. We have another new member, Matt from Comics by the Bay. Welcome.
You are like a flame. These moths are all coming. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Happening live
in real time.
In real time.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
Yes. Yeah, it works out good. Speaking of real time, again, send your love out to Ryan, new guy who unfortunately does not live in real time. He lives in Central Time. And so he needs your hopes and your prayers for that reason. But as far as everything else in life, he's doing fantastic. The baby's great. Life is great. Super busy with that. He sends his love. He will be back. He's not gone. He's living. But he will be back as soon as everything gets settled and he gets caught up with life and all that stuff. But he sends his love to everybody watching and everything. So I don't want to
give or take about 18 years.
Give or take 18 years. Yeah, there's a margin for error.
We'll check in the college years. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of kids. Paul Rogers, what is going on, my friend? I'm looking forward to seeing you this coming week up at the LCS. Always a good time. And there's the $5 super chat that pinged the top of the chat there. I refuse to join any cult, but I will super chat you. That's perfectly acceptable. No sneakers for you then.
Yeah, say what you want about CJ. He's one of the kindest guys. He doesn't want anyone to know, but the dude's a kind guy.
Yeah, I don't want to let her secret out either, but Finn just got done talking to him. You know what I'm saying? He's good people, man. I like CJ. I like him a lot, despite him not wanting to wear matching sneakers with the rest of us. TM. What is it, people? Hey, Flash 6792 is in the building. Hello. It looks like people are slowly rolling in. Taylor, I didn't realize it till today when I was going through, like, catching up on the member stuff that you had joined the channel membership. It didn't happen during a live, so I didn't see it pop up. But Taylor, I need to get you a welcome packet as well, and welcome to the channel membership. I appreciate that, my man. Another one of very unique, enjoyable people in this community that I absolutely love. Free what is going on, free comics. It used to be free energy. I like both. I like free comic energy. Silver Knight Kyle is in the building.
So does wrestling community. That's why Free Comic Book Day is such a big success.
Yeah. Mark, you are a good dude, debatable, and I'm proud to support you, man. I appreciate that. Matt, don't tell anyone my secrets. We had a $10 super chat.
What?
From DJ Links. Let's keep the super chat train long. # #chew. Appreciate that $10 super chat from DJ Links. Cole's Comics Claims. What is going on? Hello to you. I get that sneaker reference. I knew you would. TM Nerdy. Trev. Loki Dragonborn became a YouTube member. So it must be an upgrade in the membership because Loki's been a member, but he must have upgraded the membership there. So I appreciate that. Most definitely. Thank you, my good sir. If you weren't already, it could have been a renewal, but he's definitely been a member. It's one or the other. Been supporting the channel for a while. Definitely appreciate him. I would love to talk kicks with you, DJ. Not those kind of kicks. We're referring to the Heaven's Gate suicide Mass suicide is what the sneaker reference was about. And Durs is like, yeah, I'd love to talk shoes. Not these shoes. That was crazy. It was like Jonestown Part 2.
Yeah, the brain.
What it take to become a member? There's a join button down below. Sometimes if you're watching on a device, depending on if it's an update or what, it might not show up, or vice versa on the laptop or desktop. Sometimes it doesn't show up on one, but will the other. It's normally right next to the subscribe button. It says join, and it's a way to further support the channel. It sends a monthly membership to the channel of $1.99 or $5.99, and you get kickbacks, early content to videos. You get shout outs, you get loyalty badges, you get a new member welcome packet thrown into the monthly giveaway by the I almost said 616 because I hang out with Burke so much, from Big Time Collectibles. But yeah,
Membership is just a click away.
yeah, hit the like button. Appreciate that, Pops. Jonathan Jackson, long time no see, Mark. Haven't seen you at Dead Media when I'm working. I didn't know you've been working. Man, now that I've moved a little bit farther away, I don't get by there nearly as much. And also life's been busy too. But I'm definitely looking forward to talking wrestling with you, my man, and seeing you up there. You always know how to get a hold of me. Never hesitate to DM me. Did anyone see Biggie's Jordans? Those were nice. I did not. All right, I'm gonna have to scroll down and skip through some of this. All right, we have another $10 super chat. We have CJ coming for the title.
Here?
Comic
I
Journey is
refuse to allow
CJ.
DJ to stage me. Penny more from me. I will not join your cult though.
At this
Well,
point,
you're all-
it's getting cheaper just to become a member.
Yeah, at $15, I think I'm supposed to send him one shoe, right? They get you one shoe. So real quick, we don't have very many books to review tonight. I think all of us, myself and Paul, only had 3 titles that came out. It was a small week all around for me. Marvel, I did pick up that Silver Surfer Ghostlight.
Yep.
It wasn't the greatest read. They spent the entire book on an intro, which wasn't bad. I do realize they were nodding to an old Silver Surfer Volume 1 story with this, bringing this Ghostlight character back. It was a character named Al who died in the Volume 1 series. So while it was well written, I was the whole time, I'm like, I don't care. I don't need to know about these kids this intricately. They spend a lot of time getting intricate on stuff that's probably, or it shouldn't matter in issue 2. If it does matter, I'm dropping it because I'm here for this Silver Surfer Ghostlight story. But the end of it, the intro to Ghostlight, I'm like, yeah, there we go. Now we're in the comic story. So I thought that was a little iffy, but otherwise I'm in for issue 2. Don't know about 3 yet. Want to quick review these while we go real quick? Did you get a chance to read it, Chris? I'd be interested to hear what you say.
I don't know why Silver Surfer's name is even on here. It's just a cameo at best. 2 panels.
It was weak,
but it was an interesting story. I gotta admit, like I'm in. I feel like I'm in. It's not a for me. It's not a nostalgia book. It doesn't throw back to the '80s, at least with the art style. It does seem like it's going to be modern.
No, that's where they're pulling the story from, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But,
yeah, I thought it's up to a good start. The way that a lot of Marvel titles have been. Hopefully, it can maintain it though. That's the problem they seem to be having lately.
TM said, "I don't care about those kids. We learned nothing." Yeah, I'm with you on that. Even if you're trying to introduce Ghostlight, they went to great lengths to really build. And I haven't read the rest of the series right now. It feels like unnecessary information on these people that shouldn't be part of the story moving forward anyway. So it was just a very slow introduction to the book. That's all. But it has the ability to kick off.
Yeah, I really feel like issue 1 is just going to be one of those books that it keeps drawing back to. It's just callback after callback, like reference one. Here we go.
Ooh, all right, so now we have Comics by the Bay in the lead with 10:01. Just overpassed Comics Journey, who just overpassed DJ Links, who had just started the race. So Comics by the Bay is in the lead. # Cole's Mustache Riders. Watch out, Cole. He's coming to sit on that face. Be careful. So appreciate the $10 super chat by Comics by the Bay. Again, don't forget to hit me up.
Man. I got nothing.
Cole said, "Right on."
Good for you, Cole. Good for you.
And the next one that I read this week was the Lazarus Planet installment. This one was called Legends Reborn. Again, 4 mini stories: Firestorm, Fire; The Question, unnecessary. Nightwing and City Boy, dumb, and Raven, and it was okay. So I wasn't too big of a fan of this one. I'm really, I guess, ready to get back to the main story or get to more stories like the Firestorm story, because that story and the art and everything was amazing.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I'm not really. I mean, City Boy is pretty much Jack Hawksmoor for the most part. I mean, he gets his powers a little bit differently, but he basically has the same powers for the most part as Jack Hawksmoor does. So, if you've seen Jack Hawksmoor in the Authority, this is just a mini Jack Hawksmoor. So,
Or in Rom V Swamp Thing run, he appeared in that as well. If you're not familiar with the Authority, which I'm sure in not too long time from now, a lot more people will be.
that's right.
Chris, you're not doing the whole Lazarus Planet thing, are you?
Not at this point.
Yeah, just doing the first and last one, the main body.
Right, that's it. I'm into action now, so
Nice.
yeah. Moving on.
But
So
if you're
I'm just
interested
gonna.
in this, you can talk about this. You can see this tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Well, here we go again.
How super is this chat? This chat is very super. We got Loki Dragonborn in
Wow.
for 10. Boom. We got another $10 super chat. Big shout out to Loki. He's pulling up on Comics by the Bay behind only by 1 penny. So CJ is no longer near the front of the pack.
I thought CJ was in the front with 15.
They're individual.
No.
Well, pardon me. I don't want to interfere with your
Yeah.
super chats and how you
They're
play.
not
Okay.
it's not my rules. It's like
Okay.
Matt made the rule when he did this one. That
Okay.
All right.
set the
Whoa.
standard.
Look,
Dr. Von Hoos.
DVH
Okay,
is
Dr.
going like
Von Hoos.
Euro, man. This is
In
like
for a penny, in for
500
10.
American dollars.
In for a penny, in for 10 pounds and 2 cents.
I understood that reference. Boom. Yeah.
So back to Sector 2815. If you want to go in on depth and get the full details of this story, because there are a lot of nuances, there are some stuff that has a little bit more meaning and probably springboards us to other things that are happening. Keep in mind, this is a very, very unique event in the sense that it's changing so much. The nature of the story is the Lazarus effect, changing characters, places, things, events. So that's right at the cusp of this DC, Dawn of DC. So there are some things that are worth touching into and diving into, but we did that in great detail last night. Me and Paul recorded his video, which will premiere tomorrow. So we're going to be we got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're not going to dive in too heavily on these couple of titles because we've already done it. So be sure to subscribe to Sector and hit that notification bell. Loki Dragonborn taking the lead. Hashtag America. He saw that 10 pounds. He said, no, sir, bringing it back to the States with 1003. He wins. So we got this. We got it back in America.
Pounds are worth more than American greenbacks. Right?
That's not how it works.
Okay.
He makes the rules.
I'm just saying DVH is like out by a mile at this point now.
That's not how it works, man. It said the number said 1002. That's how it works.
Okay. I'm just going to Brexit away from that part of the conversation.
That's probably fair. What's the conversation on that?
Conversion.
Oh, the conversion. I'm sorry. Yeah, 1002 on this end is just 1002. So 1003 is one up.
Right.
They'll say.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Mark. I got everyone to drink the Kool-Aid. That's it, TJ.
Mastermind just revealed his plan.
That's right.
2 shoes for you.
Newsflash: Mark is quitting his job tomorrow morning.
Speaking of that, we had the 1 Minute War special drop this week, which ironically was a set of short stories as well, but it didn't feel disassociated, being that this is all under the banner of the Flash. It's only separate stories because we do have all the speedsters at play in this story arc, and they are in different places when the invasion takes place. So we're seeing them and what's going on. Chris.
The kid that's from Titans Academy there. Is he the speedster that's in that? Is he in here? Thank you.
This one? Yeah, that's Wallace West. He's in there. Yeah, he's a member of the Teen Titans, but right now, like, he is part of the Flash family. You know, outside of the costume, they are a family. Boom, we have Ian Murray,
Team Canada in the lead.
Chris, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, City Boy was awesome. Don't listen to Mark. 10:05. That's like by Mark's scale.
By my scale,
Team Canada is out front, even though this is more like a $775 donation in America.
That's
conversion 101, baby. No,
Yeah.
it's more like just like $8.95.
Money loses its currency as it pushes through the blizzard to make its way down south.
That's
it just
right.
chips away at it.
All I know is, Mark, like don't touch that money straight up because it's going to be cold. It may be damaging to your skin.
Yeah, you get frostbite. You have to let it thaw out.
Mm-hmm.
No, Mark's actually thinking right now, what can I do to affect the conversion rate?
Toonies don't count. That's actual language up here north of the border.
Toonies totally count.
Toonies totally count.
Yeah, but this was fantastic. By the way, this was awesome. The stories in here did not focus on Wallace or Impulse, though Tuesdays will. Tuesday it'll be kind of highlighting what they have going on. But we did get to see Avery, the Flash of China, who's part of the Justice League Incarnate team. She's fantastic. We get to see a villain who I totally didn't even think about. Like speedsters are at play, and we've only seen the Flash family so far. And we get to like, oh God, why didn't I think of that moment? And like Godspeed pops up, savage.
Go ahead, Mark.
If you're just reading the Flash proper title, you will never see the origin of the Fraction because that's in here as well.
Yeah, that's the origin of this whole invasion as well, which was super dope as well. I like the way that they tapped into the Speed Force and they immediately started that rapid expansion stuff like the Joker was talking about and how it wasn't obtainable. Thank you, CJ. Thank you for welcoming me.
I thought Leonard said that Tuesday's gone, but I'm glad to see Tuesday's back.
Yeah, there was no wind. That's why. That
was a Leonard Skinner reference for anyone out there. Tuesday's gone. Never mind.
Oh, I got it.
Okay,
I got it.
Thank you.
Tuesday's
all right,
gone.
baby. Rock and roll. Here we go.
Yeah. I loved Dazed and Confused growing up, and I'd already listened to Leonard Skinner, but when Tuesday's Gone played out Dazed and Confused after their crazy night of graduation, and they're all at the radio tower. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, dude, what a perfect song choice. Mm. So that's it for the books. Do y'all want to highlight real quick what's getting given away? Oh, you got some more to flash through?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my best Taylor Winder impersonation.
Shit. Good.
Let me get off my lawn. Okay. I'm in for issue 2. I'm definitely in for issue 2.
What was that?
Star Wars.
Yeah,
issue.
Star Wars.
Okay.
I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. Loved it. Look, Invaders.
Is that
Loved
Sentinel of Liberty?
Yep. Loving it. Oh, thank God it's over.
I should have jumped on that Sentinel of Liberty one because I've been waiting on the Cap proper to jumpstart, or just I should have jumped on Sentinel of Liberty when they did it instead.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, it kind of just
really
blew past
good.
me.
Like good as what Black Widow was by I forget her name, Kelly Thompson. Like that kind of good.
Taylor said that's a perfect impression.
Thank you.
Hey, I have Silver Surfer beat. He only appeared in 2 panels. This is called Batman: Legends of Gotham. He appeared in no panels.
No panels.
Come on,
Absolutely
DC.
Not.
It should have been called Legends of Gotham.
Exactly. It was not a bad issue though. However, it's basically a Red Hood book. It's interesting because it brings Alfred in and some memories he has of Alfred and what he does to Bane. Why is my name green now?
No, I think I just saw this. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just saw this. Thank you, Comics by the Bay. I just got one of your memberships, and I saw what the fuck? Why am I green now? So it looks like if I go to YouTube, I bet Comics by the Bay gifted membership to a few people. Because there's some, Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics gifted 5 memberships to people.
What?
Yeah, Rob gifted 5. So Circumstances gifted some memberships last Friday, and Rob gifted some memberships tonight. It looks like, but not everything shows up on.
Just said that.
Yeah, so it doesn't show up on the StreamYard end, but Rob gifted 5 memberships. So if you are one of those 5 people, if you magically now have memberships, DM me on IG. You still get a new member welcome packet, courtesy of Rob, who is a A1 from day one member of the channel and a good friend of mine as well. So thank you so much, Rob. You are a what do they call it? Like a saint among men or something. Something weird, but it's meant to be positive. That's what
scholar among men.
I wouldn't push it.
Okay.
Oh,
No, Rob is definitely awesome. I appreciate that. I was kidnapped and put into this code.
Wait until you wait until you
We have
experience the
you.
brainwashing.
Yeah. Oh man, let's not go
One
down
of
that road
us.
tonight. I'm still getting comments to this day on that video, Paul.
Leader.
I think 3 are claimed. Awesome. Get ready to bear a child with cult leader Romstein. I am a man among men. There you go. That works. And a scholar. You've read many leather-bound books. Tell us more about this Batman. What is it? Legend of Gotham or Knights
Legends of
of
Gotham basically is a Red Hood story. There is a file that has Leviathan had that stole all of the files from all of the different organizations that had basically who all the heroes are in real life, what their powers are, how you could defeat them. It's going to go up for sale. Um, uh, uh, the Red Hood goes to the Batcave. No one's there except for the outsiders, meaning Katana and Black Lightning. They end up crashing with Red Hood this auction. Bane ends up winning the auction, but then the Red Hood steals it from Bane, and it's all to get back at Bane because of what he did to Alfred. Basically, he just wanted Bane to lose. Quick story. But it was good. It was
I'm about to
actually
say
pretty good.
though, quality-wise, was it fun? Was it good? I like the idea
was.
of having more Bat family books, and I don't like them being billed as a Batman book though. Like having Red Hood and the Outlaws when they did that during Rebirth, that was fire. Like Red Hood, Bizarro, and wasn't it Artemis?
That's why I had to point that out when you pointed out Silver Surfer. I'm like, I got you beat by 2 panels.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that.
Like TM Nerdy and Loki. Close.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Todd is my twin brother. I'm sorry, man. He's my favorite Robin. He was the worst Robin ever, but I think he's the most interesting ward that Batman's ever had.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by far.
Just thinking back when he first met Superman, how he was smarting off to Superman, and everybody just like, what? I don't know. He was cool. I like Red Hood too. I mean, I was working at the LCS when he came back. It was intense. It was fun. I've talked about this a lot with Biggie recently. A lot of what influences how much we enjoy a comic is when and where we were in our lives and times when we experience those stories. That's why comics can hit so differently for different people and stuff. And I always just thought Red Hood was cool when I was growing up as a kid as well. Just that the concept of Joker actually having killed one of the Robins was just mind blowing to me. That didn't happen a lot. He hadn't returned yet.
He killed Robin.
You know what I mean?
For me, the whole Jason Todd thing, I just kind of thought, oh, here we go again. They're bringing people back. But then when 3 Jokers happened, and in particular that first book, and when he pulled the trigger, not just like, I've had enough of this, and pulled the trigger, I'm like, dude did what all of us have been thinking for years. And sadly, it spiraled a little out of control. But that was my hooking point there. And then he was a badass in DC versus vampires as well.
I actually called that number and voted for him to be dead.
Did you?
Yeah.
I that's funny. I never actually asked Pops if he did. Like Pops taught me about that when I was a little kid and told me about the whole hotline number and all this and that. And of course, there's countless documentaries over the years that I've seen and specials and stuff that talk about it. But I never asked my dad if he called, and maybe he saw me excited about Jason Todd. Didn't have the heart to tell me that he was part of the mob that killed him. What is going on, Tricky Trapsters in the building? CJ, I'm proud of you. What is going on, J-Man? Dropping a quick hello. Yeah, I had fun hanging out on J-Man show. Was that last night?
It was last night.
Last night. So we sat on there and talked about the DC Comics films through all the ages. It was it was starting with Batman the movie, not the serials and stuff that
Batman 66. Yeah, it was a good time.
All right, so y'all ready to get into some of these James Gunn announcements? That's obviously the big news this week. It overshadowed everything else that was happening and coming out. It dominated the social medias and the comic reporting sites and everything. And it is a very, very huge plate that they're promising here. It's So obviously, let's just start and touch on what we have this year, because that was the first thing that James Gunn, he did a press conference on the 30th and gave all these details to the media so that they can get all their press packets ready and all their stuff ready for their sites and everything. And then the next day, a video uploaded across platforms of James Gunn giving us the announcement in a nutshell. Now, he did field questions in that press release, and we do have some of that information, but we're going to go through and touch on everything and give thoughts and context and kind of talk about what we know so far about it. But obviously, first and foremost, we have what we have to finish from the old guard, which is the 4 films from this year. We've seen cancellations across the board for all the television properties. We do have another season of Superman and Lois dropping this next month, right, Paul?
Yes. Yep.
And
Starts
then
in March.
they were kind of a roundabout the way. I don't know who reported but they said something about a possibility or 1 to 2 more seasons.
James Gunn made a comment during some of the question and answer periods that he thought as though it had 1 or 2 more seasons in it. So that the question is the one season the season that's already been filmed or is filming, or is it? I took it to mean he must have been talking about at least another season on top of what has already been guaranteed.
I honestly think he's too afraid to cancel another Superman right now. He's too scared to, man.
He's much more afraid of Tyler Hoechlin than he is of Henry Cavill.
I think, yeah.
I don't know, man. Like Tyler is a tall man, but Henry Cavill built like a brick. You know what? Like,
I think he's afraid of the pushback of
on the other side
of
the ocean, right?
I'm gonna say he's in England. Tyler Hoechlin's probably like standing outside of his window.
Yeah, so we did see Titans get the final notice. We saw Doom Patrol receive their final notice. Flash is wrapping up. So everything is coming to a good end. We saw Stargirl end recently, which was sad to see go, but man, did they finish it properly with a proper ending. 3 great seasons. There's nothing wrong at all with that. You don't have to run something into the ground. I'm completely happy with this season of Superman and Lois being the final season and having also 3 great seasons. Nothing is wrong with that. And we have the big announcements where obviously Shazam is the next one, Fury of the Gods. And he talked on that for the briefest of moments, talking about how this property has been great. It kind of exists in its own little pocket inside the universe. It doesn't do too much interacting or connectivity with stuff, so that works out fine. And that's dropping in just a few weeks, right?
Well, it wasn't really given a chance to.
Like March 17th or something like that, I think.
I'm just saying Shazam wasn't really given a chance to interact with everything.
Yeah, it didn't really need to, though. It did good. It placed itself inside the universe, with Freddie being a big fanboy and everything. And we all know the little debacle with Henry Cavill where they had the Superman cameo but didn't show his head and everything like that. But so we have Fury of the Gods, which I'll be honest with y'all, I don't think it looks great. I'm hoping that it'll be fun. I'm not expecting much from it, keeping my expectations low and just hoping to be entertained. I don't think this is going to be a game changer. I don't think you're going to get out telling all your friends, you got to go see it. It's going to be one that,
I gotta admit, like if I was a producer of any one of these 4 films, I would be pissed as hell because the fact that Gunn has basically come out and just said, yeah, these are going to be good. And then after that, it's all over. So like, I'm afraid as a producer, I'd be afraid that people are not going to be interested or going to the theater where the biggest part of your bread being buttered would be. Like, cause like if people have the thoughts, well, all this is not going to be connected the way I thought it was going to be. Why bother? That as a producer, that's the part where I would be pissed.
Yeah, this too. The Rock just did not want to touch the other properties.
But we heard the same thing about Cavill not being in Black Adam. So who knows, right? Like,
they could have been trying to make a surprise out of something, but The Rock did do. Who knows, man? Who knows is the thing. We'll never know. But moving past that, we get to the big one. I think this is the biggest superhero movie of the year because it's the most important one, just to everything that comes after this. But Ezra Miller's The Flash film, which I've been screaming about. Like, not getting into the Ezra crap. I could give 2 craps about all that stuff. Just talking in terms of a functioning DC universe here and the films coming out. This is the make or break it moment. James Gunn spoke about this film. He said he'd seen it. He said that he loved it. And then the next day, had a quote that came out. He said it's possibly one of the greatest superhero movies made. And this is just tracking with everything else that we've heard and we know about this film. There's something special about this film. They've moved it up, the test screenings through the roof. When David Zaslav took over the company, he watched all these properties. He could have axed this film and got tons of money back for it, like they did with Batgirl, the Scooby-Doo stuff, and other stuff at Warner Brothers, not just superhero stuff. But he said that it was fantastic. He said Shazam was okay. Black Adam needed some work. Aquaman wasn't that far along in production, and he said The Flash was awesome. So everyone who's seen this says it's awesome. There's something to it. So I'm pumped to see what that is. I'm hoping that I'm not getting my expectations too high, but Gunn confirmed that this is the movie he's going to use. He's flashpointing it. He confirmed that they're flashpointing it. He's using the events of this film to reboot it, which I think is a fantastic way to do it instead of just cutting the cord and everything, just killing it all and just starting from day one, ground zero. So now that everything that happened from Man of Steel forward is still canon, per the events of the timeline of this universe and the storytelling of this universe, an event took place in that universe that altered it. So I think that's awesome. It's a great way of paying respect to everything that came before. It's super comic booky. And yeah, what do you guys think?
It is exactly what happened in Flashpoint. That's how we got the New 52 in DC. So
that's how I'm looking at this whole Gunn era. It's just the New 52.
Well, that's what we got with Man of Steel. That's what we got with Snyder's vision, was that New 52.
Well, and that's just it. But that stuff was close to the New 52 as opposed to, well, shall we say, Earth One before it? Like it. Okay, but Flashpoint is a Kickstarter. Okay, but everyone needs to realize that Flashpoint is going to be canon, and everything before it is canon as well.
My question is, how long before Warner Brothers steps in and interferes? I think we're past that. That was such a jaded era in filmmaking, but man, it was rough. Like that 13 to 18 era.
Yeah, whole Cavill being on the outs.
Yeah, there was a report late this week though that said that Warner Brothers is not happy with James Gunn and the fact that he basically, told reporters that Warner Brothers fucked over Henry Cavill and fucked up the DC universe.
And the whole DC studios over there was a mess. They were giving away IPs like candy.
Yeah, and the higher ups at Warner Brothers were not happy with it. So,
yeah, you got to tote the line a little bit better than that. Have a little bit of tact.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with the statements. I think it was not wise to word it that way.
Yeah,
because people grab stuff and run with it.
You just say that the whole Henry Cavill thing was problematic between what had happened before and what was going to happen going forward. You don't basically say that a movie studio that you now have to work for, fuck them over.
Yeah, yeah. We shared and talked about those pop boxes. I put those on IG and Facebook. I think we talked about them last week, but you get to see Wonder Woman, who, as Paul pointed out, these pops were made before these final recuts of the film. It's been confirmed that her nor Superman will appear in this movie at this point, but the pop will exist. Ben Affleck Batman as well as Michael Keaton Batman will appear in it. We also get Dark Flash, both Barry Allen's, and then we get to see one dress almost like a rollerball skater when one of his little early prototype suits. But and Sasha Cale Supergirl. I'm pumped for that. Flash will kick ass. After that, we'll all be getting a kick in the ass. Yeah, I think it might be rough after that. So directly after that, I don't know. I'm kind of excited for the next one on the slate for this year's Blue Beetle, the Jaime Reyes movie that survived. It survived the merger. What do you guys think?
Well, I like the fact they went out and got themselves a young actor who, we all know from the Netflix series, the Daniel San one, Cobra Kai.
Daniel San, yeah, on Netflix.
Right, the Cobra Kai miniseries. So I like the fact that they kind of did the exact same thing that Marvel did when they went and got Tom Holland a few years ago. Went and got themselves a young actor that can age with the character, and I really feel they did the proper thing here with Blue Beetle. I hope Blue Beetle doesn't go away. I hope Blue Beetle is not deemed like a third tier character in the DCU moving forward. I hope that he has cameos or that he's a part of things moving forward. That's my biggest thing at before like this and then Aquaman and everything afterwards. I really hope that everything that's happening this year is not necessarily just a waste of time outside of Flashpoint.
I like it because I would not be surprised if going into it after it was filmed, there's a couple things. One, it has a character that is not well known necessarily, outside of hardcore comics people. So so there wasn't a lot of money spent on it comparatively to other movies. So it's something that's worth taking a chance on, and you have the potential for a huge return. But if they already knew what the Safran and Gunn thing was, would a Blue Beetle Booster Gold movie be out of the realm of possibility somewhere down the road?
And that's why I've kept this up as well, because I think this question ties into Blue Beetle as well. It's confirmed that Ted Kord's in it. It is not confirmed Ted Kord is in it in costume, rockin' sockin' robot and all that. Think Ant-Man. We came into Ant-Man on our second Ant-Man with Scott Lang, and we see Hank a little bit older doing his tech guy mentor thing. But Ted Kord is confirmed in it. But we do have confirmation that Booster Gold is coming. So there's no way you're doing a Booster Gold without Ted Kord. And at some point, but it comes into play like at this point, this is post Flashpoint for Blue Beetle, so it would have to be younger Ted Kord.
Or you could make Booster Gold be younger and more the age of Jaime Reyes.
That
you could do it either way.
Now, into this question, it says, y'all think Supergirl from The Flash will be the new Supergirl, or will they recast? He's referring to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which is at the back end of the slate, which realistically is you're looking at like this is a 6 to 8 year plan, 8 to 10 year plan from the start of this year moving forward. And keep in mind, these weren't all the announcements. These are just some of the things that they're ready to announce now. I think the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow casting is contingent upon a couple of things: how fast that movie ends up happening, if it does, and how well Sasha Cale is received in The Flash. If she doesn't have this huge fan like cry for her and everything, if she doesn't blow everyone out of the water, they have the ability to recast per the events of Flashpoint. So it can really go either way. That's kind of like a sweet spot with this Flashpoint thing. You can really look at what people really loved before and what they necessarily didn't, and you can be picky and choosy to try to improve upon things you didn't do as well in the past, i.e. replacing Ezra Miller in the future if he doesn't really just somehow or another change the way that the public perceives him.
He's finished.
I don't know. We'll get into that question later. Like I'm not
on at this point.
Neither you or I are in charge of their decision making. What we think and want or have nothing to do with the decisions that they make. Now, Peter Safran and James Gunn, like I said, fielded questions at this press conference, and one of the biggest ones that they were asked that I was curious about was about the future of Ezra Miller. Peter Safran took the question, James set it out, and he did the best he could with the information he has because his future is unknown. They did not confirm he's done, which we all know they would never do that before this movie's released. No matter what they know, they're not going to come out and say, this is it, he's out the door. But they did say that we're excited about this film. We're excited about any potential this kid has in movies in the future, and we're devoted to his recovery that he's taking very seriously. So all they did was just softball the question and not say one way or the other. But I have a hard time picturing it going forward.
I think most Snyderverse actors and actresses, they're getting their pink slip.
Viola Davis.
I think the one curveball
that's always going to be my kryptonite with you.
The one curveball to it all is everyone that participated in Peacemaker. So at the very last episode of Peacemaker we had, the Justice League there, most of them were darked out other than Aquaman and the Flash. So does this mean that they get to stay? Like it's with no
the fact that Momoa is post Flash,
it's still weird.
So this is going to be something that I think we're going to get. Like these movies are coming out in a certain order this year, but I don't think the events will take place in the same order. So we've talked about this before. How do they Flashpoint this universe? Like you have Shazam at the beginning of the year, Blue Beetle, Aquaman after Flash, post credits. The post credit stinger is how you put it into time concept or put it into time proper. After the credits in Shazam, you need to have Billy and his foster family in the backyard at the picnic table, having fun, just having lunch, hear a noise, camera pans up at the sky, and you see the white just overtaking everything and them, and it just ends. And then we were left wondering, oh no, what happened? And then during the Flash, you see Barry cause that flashpoint. You know what I mean? You see him run and do that reset. And then when Blue Beetle happens, you can have it start fading from that white, or you can do the same thing. And you can end Aquaman the same way. And then it all perfectly makes sense for the viewers.
Yeah, I really think, just to backtrack to Blue Beetle, because of the fact that small budget, I really feel it could have Deadpool potential. Deadpool was a $40 or $60 million movie that kicked some serious ass. I think Blue Beetle has the potential for that. But almost every comic fan that enjoys Blue Beetle would have to show up to make that happen. Yeah.
We were Chris.
Like, how is, like, this is a freaking terrible movie.
Steel.
Come on.
Steel. Yes.
I'm taking this away. Yeah.
We had fun on that stream, man. It was great. Didn't Gunn say this doesn't reset everything, but most of it? This is not New 52 in a sense that everything that came before dead stops and they just literally start like from day one. This is not 1938. This is a flashpoint. Wally West messes with the timeline. This is Back to the Future too. You know, there's familiar elements there. There's different elements there, and yeah,
A Wrinkle in Time.
A Wrinkle in Time. Somewhere in Time, starring Christopher Reeve. That movie will make you cry. That's a tough one. Oh, it's rough.
What was the one where he was the fighter pilot? I forget.
Not that one. Somewhere in Time was where he was the time traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a rough movie.
Didn't make me cry as much as Last of Us last week.
Yeah. I don't know. Somewhere in Time gets me even worse. I don't know. That movie's just... My dad showed me that as a kid. He's like, you want to see something sad? I'm like, sure. And he showed me that. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my
Like
God.
every good father would. Like every good father does, right? You want to see something sad?
All right. So now, then obviously Aquaman at the end of the year, Jason Momoa has been doing all this press stuff. He got the huge meeting that he got out of with Peter James. And I forget the third person's name, but it wasn't David, I don't believe. But anyways, he's super excited about some new news at Warner Brothers. He went later to interview and talk about Aquaman, do a little bit of promotional for it. He said it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Nobody's replacing him as that character. And he can also play two people in two comic book characters if he needed to. And he said it with a shit-eating grin. He was so excited. So who knows what his future is going to hold. We just know it's big things. Fans love him. The ladies love him. Soccer moms across the world are praising the news to hear that there might be two Jason Momoas in the DCU. But I'm excited for Aquaman. I love the character.
Didn't James Gunn, though, say that Jason Momoa will only be playing one DC character?
Don't know.
I'm thinking he's saying one character at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like Aquaman may be done,
Mm-hmm.
but Lobo could be in play.
Yeah, and I think the no one's replacing me was more of a comment to there's not a new Aquaman lined up behind him. Like we'll have this movie, and then we probably won't see the King of the Seven Seas for a while, but Jason Momoa is not going to be absent from the DCU. And they see how much there's this big fan calling for it, and how excited people are. So they're obviously going to play that one close to the chest. What if Aquaman becomes Lobo via magic? Ironically, all magic in DC Comics originates where, Paul? Atlantis.
I was doing the whole thing where I was going to think about it for a second, and then you just jumped in. Man, you don't even give me a chance to.
My dad, you want to see his dad?
Emotional damage.
Before he gets scratchers. still waiting on him.
He never came back with the scratch tickets.
No. Brolin and Thanos were Brolin was Thanos and Cable.
Oh, Frank, he sends me every time, Frank.
What up, Legion? I agree. I don't see Aquaman coming back for a bit. Yeah, it's gonna be a while. Definitely gonna be a while. What is going on, Carlos? How are you tonight? They're no bigger Lobo fan than me, but the biggest mistake DC can make is pulling Momoa onto him. That sounds like a crime.
Exactly.
I won't bring that.
That sounds like something they shouldn't even film.
Yeah. Or it's illegal unless you film it. All right, so that's the slate for this year. That's from the old guard that's had James Gunn, Peter Safran had minimal to do with those films. Obviously, they had a hand in something with him way late in post-production, if anything. Probably didn't touch Shazam. That's probably why he's like, we're lucky. This one kind of exists in its own, meaning thank God we didn't have to spend money making this make sense. But the rest is lined up, and we're finally getting into what they're branding. Well, they're not saying that this is the first official start, but we're now hitting into what they're calling Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, which obviously we're going to always compare things to other things that we know. Marvel's phases, DC's going to have chapters. I don't think we're going to see them structured the same, where you get a couple of movies, then a big ensemble film to button it off. We already have way more projects announced in this Gods and Monsters alone, and there's more to it. But they're kicking it off with an animated series that's already been written by James Gunn. It will premiere on HBO Max, and it's Creature Commandos. So if you see, yeah. So if the only thing that you might recognize from that, if you're not too familiar with these people, is over there by Chris. It looks just like Chris, ironically, is Weasel from the Suicide Squad, who was played by Sean Gunn's brother. But this is a team of the closest thing to, like, you can imagine the Universal horror monsters, Creature, Frankenstein, Bride of Dracula. You have G.I. Robot back there. But over here next to me, it was like Lieutenant Sleaze or Slice or something like that in the original comics. But in the more modern, updated ones, it was Rick Flag Sr. So hashtag raise the flag right over here.
Yeah.
So we're getting a Rick Flag property back, and it's going to be his father, which I think is super cool. So they did say that they're going to do their best. They did not say it's an all or none kind of thing. They're going to do what they can to try to keep consistency among the actors who are doing the voices of these characters. So if and when animated shows and stuff crisscross with the continuity of the universe, you'll get those same people.
And
so what are your thoughts?
Sean Gunn is going to play Weasel.
You too.
So.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Which I still thought he was on the beach at the end of just kind of wandering around.
I wonder if this is I think this is clearly going to take place beforehand, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
before Suicide Squad.
For HBO Max, so that's going to basically leave them with Harley Quinn, which seems to be the only survivor of anything, pre James Gunn, and Creature Commandos. I mean, in an animation, that's the place to do, to do those type of things, and you can set the tone for how you want it, and it's something that is gonna play. You can play stories out, across multiple episodes. So. Yeah, I'm excited to see the dynamic and with all the characters that they have there.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun, and I think it's smart that they're starting with an animated something, because it bridges the time gap between these films and stuff that we already have made that are all rolling out 4 film projects in 1 year, and then we have to get to the next stuff. They have to have time to finish scripts, to cast, to start production, and to get it out. So that does take a little bit of time. We are going to see some lag. We have 4 this year, and then we have the Creature Commandos animated. Then right after that, we get our first live action feature post Old Guard, and that's going to be an HBO Max series starring Viola Davis reprising her role as Amanda Waller, which he stated will be an HBO Max series focused on Amanda Waller, and they'll be crossing over with the Peacemaker team and the like. So it's clearly the 3rd installment into James Gunn's Suicide Squad characters and universe, which I'm heavily excited for. I love what he's done with the Suicide Squad. And if you follow the comics, or if you've touched on them or even looked at them, you realize that team is so dynamic and is always an ever-changing. If you saw the movie, you know that there's an entire penitentiary full of super criminals that you can touch on and deal with. And people wondering, why Waller, though? Why focus on Waller? It's just the name of a show. It's the name of a show. We're clearly not going to follow her around in board meetings all day trying to dupe the government. It's just she's the leader of the team. It's her team.
Look, anytime you have Viola Davis on your cast, she has to be up in the forefront. But you're right. Personally, I'm not a fan of them rolling out an animated property first. I think it should be live action. It should be exactly something that's a bridge from what is going to be remaining from the former, say, Snyderverse, moving into the Gunnverse or into the DCU, from the DCEU to the DCU. I think Waller should have been first, and then possibly the animated one second or third. But I'm presuming Creature Commandos is going to be full of Amanda Waller. Let's just be honest. Like, her handprint's going to probably be on there and pull it back. Yeah, like, come on, man. It's gonna with Weasel there. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's why I think it might be beforehand.
Supposedly, there's supposed to be there's supposed to be one character from Peacemaker that's supposed to be in the Amanda Waller series too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was Weasel. Weasel was. I saw that article and I clicked on it.
So Weasel going to be in Creature Commanders and in Waller?
I think so. I think that's the one that
okay.
they were teasing at. Which,
Okay.
like Chris said, that's going to be like the connecting tissue there. Unless they pull Rick Flag Sr., which would make my day if she calls in Rick Flag Sr. and tries to get him to lead the team, and he's like, "This is post Flashpoint, guys. There's no reason he shouldn't say I can't do it. Hey, come in here." And Joel Kinnaman walks in the damn room. Like, I will lose my mind if they like. I want Joel Kinnaman back. I don't just want Rick back. I want Joel Kinnaman as Rick back.
I'm sorry, man, but if I can't have Henry Cavill back as Superman, I can't see it happening.
I don't think that's as tall as an order, though. Sean Astin Scott as Lobo. He killed it in Country Mac. Sean William Scott. Country Mac is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm down to watch Waller in a board meeting. Waller's a bitch. People like to watch bitches being bitchy. And see, that's what my wife hates Amanda Waller. Hates Amanda Waller. And not because she hates Viola Davis, but because she's such an effective villain. Like, when you watch her on screen, she serves her purpose. You despise her.
Best villain in the whole damn show, period.
Oh, Travis makes a good point, is that Weasel was never in Peacemaker, and they specifically said it was a character from Peacemaker. I would love to see the Vigilante back.
I bet it's going to be James Gunn's wife.
Yes.
Harcourt.
James Gunn's wife, or the dude with the beard that was supposed to be the computer
Diebeard. Diebeard.
Right. That's it. Diebeard. That's what I was trying to get at. He might be the one that returns.
It'd also be fun to watch Waller commit genocide and fire people. Yeah, she did both. She's done both. That first Suicide Squad movie, when they finally got to the Ostrander building to extract her, and she just literally mercilessly commits genocide in that room. It was crazy.
She's the best. The best.
Bring back Kinnaman. Yeah. Found my weird word code earlier today. Cover isn't the best. I didn't take good care of books back then. Hey, man, that just means they were well loved. Well loved. Waller's daughter was in Peacemaker. Yeah, Adebayo.
Yep.
They said that the Waller show will be crossing over with the Peacemaker team. We're going to be seeing a lot of returning cast for that one. 100% will be his wife. Diebeard is who we want, though. Yeah, that's who I want.
That's who exactly.
That's
I want him to have his own show.
Yeah, if you're not going to give me Peacemaker, the next best thing is Vigilante. But yeah, let's keep it pushing here. Let's keep it pushing. The next one is what James Gunn considers the first official start of the DCU. What David Zaslav said before James Gunn ever got there is, what's wrong with this place? He pulled a Neil Adams. He walked in the door at DC and says, where's Superman? Neil walked in looking for Jerry and Joe. David walked in looking for Superman, and he said, it's not here. How do we have a functioning universe without a functioning Superman? He is the foundation of this company. He is the most iconic character we have, and James Gunn is up to the task, apparently. He's bringing us Superman Legacy on July 11th, 2024. So that's a long wait with only Creature Commandos and Waller in between it. So a couple of the source books that he obviously shared that he's kind of trying to pull from, not necessarily story material, but tone, was Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. And then he gave a brief description of what this movie could be. A younger Superman, not Superboy. Don't get confused with that, people, but a younger Superman dealing with his Earth heritage as well as his Kryptonian heritage, and balancing how his morals and values work in a functioning world today that's progressed past it, which explains why he was reading Kingdom Come a few months back, because that's literally what they put Superman up against in that book.
Superman Legacy is 2025, I think, right? You said 2024.
2025. That's even farther. So there's got to be some unknown announcements between. I think that's the whole point of them pushing the animation one first, is it's a time thing to bridge some gaps. But Chris, I know like you're probably the biggest detractor. What are your thoughts on James Gunn's Superman?
Everything you said, my man, was rolled out 8 years ago before, and then we got a little bit of it in BVS, and then we got a little bit more of it in Justice League as well. It's been done before. It's been done before. I'm not going to sit here and just rip it apart. I'm just saying it's been done before. For again, like if Man of Steel was literally, we watch Henry Cavill grow up and then struggle with becoming Superman. Literally struggled with becoming Superman. Then in Batman versus Superman, you got to see a little bit more of a confident Superman, and him actually trying to be kind as well. And then in Justice League, we had Superman realizing who he was at this point, returning from death, and realizing how important he was, not only as a functioning member of a team, but to the planet as a whole. It's been done before. So why cancel Cavill?
Well, we're past that. We're past
Right.
that. So,
Okay.
yeah, we're past the why cancel Cavill part. So I don't know how much of the script will lean into the dealing with heritage stuff, how much will lead to him. It looks like they're kind of just touching on broad topics, but if he's going to be pulling from All-Star Superman, I kind of feel like there has to be a little bit more of that in the film with just the name Superman Legacy, because that's what All-Star Superman deals with heavily, you know. And in that book, we were able to traverse through so many aspects of Superman, from the huge cast of characters that we see in there to the many different sides of him, his strength, his intelligence, his subtleness, his true care, his true passion. So it would be interesting to see, like, that's the truest Superman has ever been in modern times, is an All-Star Superman. So if that's what they're bringing to the table, if that's the tone, if that's the message that they can bring, because that's one thing I feel like the Henry Cavill scripts were missing. Like, while I enjoyed them, I 100% understand people's gripes where that's not the Superman that's always been Superman. They're being sold a new updated Superman, and people don't want it. People don't want a new updated Superman. They want Superman.
So that's the thing. People, let's be honest, because we've been doing this for a couple of years now, talking about this character specifically. Writers can't handle him. Like, we've seen writers do him poorly. We've seen film, animation, the whole 9 yards. Rarely is Superman done to at the point where the people feel satisfied. People have this image of Christopher Reeve's Superman, whereas the point is, none of those stories were Comic Foundation either. That was 100% Hollywood script. John Peters had a big hand in that all the way through, and still does to this day. But the thing is, what we got was good. What we got was good. We had a young man struggling with his identity, realizing how large he actually was, where his own father was saying, I don't think this world is ready for you. Where his own biological father is like, you are going to be the savior for this planet. People won't understand you. They will stumble and fall. And that was the whole damn masses. Jor-El wasn't talking to Kal-El. He was talking to the damn movie viewers. People won't understand you, but eventually they'll join you in the sun. But yet here we are today, getting ready for the next iteration, which was what the Man of Steel was basically the same thing that we saw with the first Superman movie. And then a slight regurgitation in Superman Returns. The Man of Steel happened. It's just the same wheel turning over and over. I get that.
I just think with the Christopher Reeve movie, they didn't lose the essence of Superman. Like, he was a shining beacon of the essence of Superman. Though that's what was. Paul, what are you thinking?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking people are thinking legacy, and they're thinking, okay, how did he become who he was? Okay, in the comic book, I'm thinking James Gunn is thinking more meta almost, and that, what is the legacy of Superman? What does Superman stand for? And that's what I think he's going to go back to, and that's what I think he's going to do. And so if he does that, I mean, Mark, you and I have talked. One of the biggest problems I had with Man of Steel was at the end where he killed General Zod. I don't think he would have done that. That's not something that he would have done, and that was bad writing to me. Okay, and that tarnishes the legacy. It's not true to the legacy of who he was. So that's why I think James Gunn, is going to write a more holistic movie. Whatever the plot is, it's going to be, this is the essence of Superman. This is who he is. This is his legacy.
Yeah, bring back the trunks for sure. Where do y'all stand on this? Trunks or no trunks?
Hold on. Let's just talk about this for one quick second about Zod. Superman 2. What does Superman do to General Zod?
Break his hand and throw him down a hole.
He kills him. And then what does he do with Zod's woman and then the guy with the beard after? I got news for everyone. He kills them too. They're finished. They're dead. That's it. He took away their super abilities. Then he threw them down a trench. It's all over. Good night. Toodaloo. Superman. That's what Superman does with Zod. He just kills him. And that's what people had a hard time. Like, if you love Christopher Reeve and you're such a big fan of Christopher Reeve, pay attention to the final act of Superman 2. He literally smokes Zod first. Like, never mind the two henchmen first. He goes for Zod first. Breaks his freaking hand and throws him away like yesterday's news. Toodaloo, sunshine. It's all over.
But does he kill him? Does he kill him?
Do you think you would have survived that trench fall with a broken? Come on.
We don't see him kill him on screen.
His name was Nom. Wait, they were floating that piece of glass.
Yeah.
That was at the beginning of Superman 2, not the end.
Yeah, he throws him in the trench in the fortress at the end.
The one thing I can say about James Gunn taking on Superman entirely is that we've heard directors say they don't want anything to do with Superman because
hard to write.
Because they said because the fan base is way too difficult because of what Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner did previously. So kudos to him for taking this on and wiping out everything that came before it, including the main actor that everyone seemed to enjoy as the character. Good luck. Good luck.
And
I do want to say what CJ said.
You're talking about Henry. Everyone seemed to enjoy.
Yeah, everyone seemed to enjoy Henry Cavill as a character.
We've touched on this. I don't know if you were on here with us when we did. Everyone's cheerleading for him now. They weren't there when he was actually when it required buying a ticket to support him. They're happy to. I'm not talking about you, Chris. People are happy as hell to cry and bitch on the internet, fire James Gunn, this and that. Y'all didn't go buy tickets. You didn't buy the movie when it came out. You did nothing to actually support the film. And if you did, I'm obviously not talking to you. That's how you show that you support them. Not a hashtag, not bitching about it after the fact, not putting a laughing emoji whenever someone puts a Superman post up. That's not how you support. That's actually how you hurt properties. That's how you don't get what you like. The way you get what you like, and it goes back to what House of L Comics said in the chat, whatever they put out, I'm going to go see it and hope it's good so that I'll finally get to the ones I love. That's how you support it. This isn't just a one and done thing. It's a property. It's a universe. It's a studio that in for a penny, in for a pound. If they don't perform, they won't continue. Superman, no matter how much you liked him, I am a diehard Snyder fan. It didn't perform. It didn't resonate. I loved it. Paul didn't like the end with Zod. I loved it. I still understand why people have those problems with it. And it didn't perform. People walked away, split down the middle, upset. Everyone hated Batman v Superman until the Ultimate Cut came out, but the general audience didn't give it a chance at that point or lean into that. Most people, like outside of like the comic community and stuff, didn't even see the Snyder Cut. You say Justice League to them, they think the one that was in theaters that hardly anybody went and saw anyways for a movie that size. Like Henry Cavill has never led a successful film as a whole. He just hasn't because people didn't like it. It didn't perform. And it's not Henry's fault, obviously, but that's just the fact of what happened. So we're past that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I didn't like the end of Man of Steel, but I bought it when it came out on Blu-ray. I bought it when it came out on 4K because for the same reason. The people who complain the most are the people who generally have not seen the movie.
Just because it's trendy.
We didn't see these Henry Cavill fans until the day that they fired him. Like how long?
I don't know, man. People came out of the woodwork for his cameo in Black Adam.
I think it was really the Snyder Cut what really brought people back out of the woodwork, to be honest with you, because like getting that whole thing back together really got hype back into it and brought some new people in. But the internet's an odd thing, man.
Yeah. The one thing CJ mentioned much earlier is that they need to cast an unknown. You're right. He's absolutely right. Cavill was known a little bit beforehand. Christopher Reeve was truly an unknown at the time, and look at him now today, right? Or how much he's respected today.
Yeah, and if you want to know like some more deep cut details on like some takes of Man of Steel and all that, like what was it, J-Man? What's the name of his channel?
J-Man.
It's just J-Man.
Give me a moment.
But anyways, we did a a DC movie conversation last night, ranking and debating and talking about them. It was really fun, and I think me and Chris were the only people on that large panel that enjoyed the Snyder movies. Like it was,
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to the next movie. I knew Superman's going to be a tough pill to swallow, but next we're going from the silver screen back down to HBO Max for the long-awaited. They announced this show at the start of HBO Max.
G-Man 77.
J-Man 77. Be sure to check him out. Give him a follow. He does a lot of like movie and comic talk over there. Fantastic channel. Awesome guy. But this was announced like part of the selling point of HBO Max for comic fans. It's been pushed back. It was cast. It was recast. They had all these people. I've been hyped for it, just patiently waiting, impatiently at times. And now finally we get the official announcement that we will be getting a television show called Lanterns in the style and tone of True Detectives, focusing on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. We don't have to split and pick. We get them both. And they said it will be terrestrial-based style of True Detectives, where they're just cosmic police officers on Precinct Earth. And inside of this show, they will uncover the plot that will be the running theme of this big chapter, event, bad guy, whatever it is, which I'm thinking this is where we might get our introduction to the new gods.
So that would be like the gods of gods and monsters.
To counterpoint Superman, Wonder Woman, the other gods.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you thinking, Paul? I know that this was it for you, wasn't it?
It was. It really was. It was like I have waited so long to see a live action Green Lantern on any screen, big screen, small screen. I don't really care, just to see it somewhere. And to have Green Lantern, to have Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart together. There was, although I was excited for the previous one, it seemed like it was going to be kind of disjointed because it was going to be in different time periods and it was going to be all over the place. But the good part about it is that everyone that they thought that they were going to involve in the previous Green Lanterns could very easily come into this series as well, because there's so many Green Lanterns. And you now have all these episodes, you could easily get to a lot of them. So yeah, I mean, this show cannot come fast enough for me.
Yeah. And it's going to be a while because it's after Superman, which isn't until 2025. Right. Chris, what do you think with Green Lantern?
I think it's very exciting. I hope that we get it. I hope that there's cameos galore with other lanterns, including that young one that was in Far Sector. That was the last Green Lantern. Right. That was the last limited series Green Lantern that I read all the way through. And that was nothing short of a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. Jamal Campbell.
If we're going to do this in the form of True Detective, that's her stick. She's like a detective on par with Batman.
I really hope that they left her name and her character out of it, just because they the two brightest Green Lanterns are these two, in my opinion. But I hope that she's like the go between both of them. I hope that she's like the straight cop, and one of them is a little bit of a badass and the other one's a little bit of a smart mouth. I hope she's in it. Like, if you haven't read Far Sector, you're missing out. It's really, really good.
All right, so after we do this HBO Max series, The Lanterns, we're going to be going right back to the big screen for probably the strangest one that's on the list as a whole. But this is The Authority, originally written by Warren Ellis, illustrated by Brian Hitch. This was under the Wildstorm imprint. That was the imprint that Jim Lee created while he was at Image Comics before he sold all of his properties and came to work at DC Comics. Now, The Authority was written while at DC post the move, but it is still under the Wildstorm branch. So it exists in its own world over there for a long period of time, but it's been slowly folded into the main universe proper. So this story has been confirmed to be crossing over with the DC characters. They're not going to do it separately as its own entity. And it's pretty much the boys before the boys kind of thing. You have analogs for Superman, Batman, Hawkgirl, a Red Tornado character in there. Just it's wild though. It's pretty cool. This is one that Paul Rogers, the owner of my LCS, gave me trades and said, "Hey, if you hadn't read this, you have to read these." And it's good stuff. Mark Miller, however you want to say his name, picked it up after Warren Ellis did. And these are some really interesting characters that you can see sprinkled throughout a lot of different stuff in current times. Like Jack Hawksmoor was in Swamp Thing. A lot of these characters are in the action run with Midnighter, Apollo, the such. But I'm really excited for this one. I think it's gonna be really, really different. I think this will be like his Guardians kind of thing. Not comparing it story wise to it, but just like obscure characters. It is a team, have the ability to really do a lot with them and just win an audience over from scratch.
Now, is this the Authority from Superman the Authority, that limited series
Yep.
a couple years
Yeah,
ago? It is?
it's the
Okay.
same. It's the same
So that's
team.
my
not
introduction
really
to the
same
characters.
members. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Midnighter and Apollo is about the only two that were on that team
Okay.
that are in the original Authority team.
Okay.
Yes, it
Maybe
was.
we'll find evidence of Anti-Monitor in Lanterns. Oh, that'd be dope.
That's
I do find it frustrating that not all creators were notified their works were going to be brought to life on screen. So I do feel like I know what he's talking about. Brian Hitch put up a post saying, "Oh wow, this is cool." Wish someone would have told me. They have no reason to have told him any different than anyone else. I mean, like maybe it's like cool that they told him, but it's not like they're financially obligated.
Right.
I don't know.
Going back to Pop's post about maybe they find evidence of the interesting that the crisis on Infinite Earth started in Green Lantern with
Mhm.
Kronos.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at the hand of creation.
Right.
Journey said it'd be a good idea if they didn't already get the boys. And this is a whole nother conversation for another time, which would be great to talk about, like getting into creator rights and proper etiquette and stuff. But Brian Hitch, the artist of their run, who was working for DC, but he was sad.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't sad. Maybe he just wanted people to say, awesome, good job for you, and just went about it a unique way. Got my son the first appearance of Midnighter a few months ago, LOL. There's two covers for that one. Which one did you get, the A cover or the Dark Knight Returns homage? Which one? I'm curious. You know what's funny is we offloaded the entire Authority run on Pop's Attic last year for like $1 or $2 a book, except Midnighter and Apollo's first appearances. I wasn't giving those up. Doubt they do a crisis in chapter 1. Oh, absolutely
no,
not.
That's way down the line.
Seeding it would be smart. Yeah, I wonder if
would be a courtesy, but there's, to Mark's point, they're not obligated to do that.
Yeah, well, like if you look at the thumbnail, there's 10 images. I wonder if he messaged Frank quietly. I wonder if he messaged like Brian Hitch. I mean, there's everyone who worked on a, like, do I need to do that when I make thumbnails? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And the other thing too is I know that they're talking about All-Star Superman for Superman Legacy. There was no confirmation that he's actually doing any of that for Superman Legacy. It's just a reference that he's using to read up on Superman. And if as a reference book for Superman, you really can't get any better than All-Star Superman, because it basically had everything you could possibly want with Superman was in those 12 issues.
Brian Hitch wasn't the only person to work on the Authority either. So do you message everybody? You know, like people use these images all the time of comic books. Like, I think it was a little petty of Brian Hitch, like obviously, but I mean, where was everyone else complaining? And not just about these announcements, about every time someone uses their work on a newspaper headline for stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Right.
What?
You gotta remember, the creators don't own those characters.
No, they're DC's. Yeah, they were paid to do a job for DC. DC should have been like, what?
Right.
Like, return your paycheck then. If you're sad, return your paycheck. We'll let you know when we use your work at that point. Dark Knight's awesome. Yeah, that's a dope cover. It really is. But next up on the list after the Authority, this is where it's going to get dicey for a lot of people, but I'm excited about this because this has got a lot of implications with this one. We're going to be getting introduced to Batman in the DCU, not the Robert Pattinson Batman, which we'll touch on that stuff at the end. Chris will be happy about this one at least. We're going to be getting Batman in a title called The Brave and the Bold. They're leaning heavily into Grant Morrison's run for this as well. And this is where we get introduced to Damian Wayne. They did confirm that Damian Wayne will be Robin in this movie. James Gunn said it's his favorite Robin. But this also means that we're going to be entering an era where we've already had numerous Robins. I don't see them for 1 second blowing past all these Robins and just saying, this is the first Robin I'm expecting. This means we already have Nightwing. If they want to use him, we already have Red Hood. He did say this is what we're getting introduced to the Bat family. So he didn't just say just Robin. He said the Bat family.
But one of the things, and I mentioned this to you, is it was interesting that the image that they used for that, the Brave and the Bold, if you want to bring that up again,
I'm on the way.
that is actually Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
as
that's
Batman.
Dick Grayson in that photo.
Thank you. Like, look at the bat symbol on the chest, man. Like, come on.
This was right after Final Crisis,
Final
when
Crisis,
Batman was thrown through time and was coming back through time, and Dick Grayson ended up taking over the mantle of Batman, and that's part of why, you know, Damian Wayne wants to take a sword at Batman, because it's Dick Grayson.
Yeah. Brother John said, it's another case of artists getting second-handed. He talked to King. King's actually a part of DC Studios.
Yeah. King was actually in the room for a lot of the discussions.
Yeah, Ellis, who's also probably a part of it, and others, but not Hitch, who doesn't have anything to do with it, or Belisk Everly, who probably also doesn't have anything to do with it. So it looks like he talked to the people who were actually involved in working on the projects is what it is. I don't think he's shortchanging anyone.
Or who's currently employed.
Yeah, not just that, but like even beyond a step, they're actively expanding their roles to help make this thing a success. Probably looking for a fairer payday. Yep. You see that happen a lot. Oh, you're making more money. I deserve more money. I do believe that is something that they need to address at times. There are situations where an IP explodes, and I think they shouldn't leave those creators behind. I think they should go back and return to it, and depending on contracts, because the way contracts are worked, it should be like percentages anyways. It shouldn't be flat rate prices. And we learned that from Siegel and Schuster. Roscoe and I had a guy who messaged us and got mad we used his art for a thumbnail without telling him or shouted him out. Well, I hope you shouted him out at that point. Damian is the whiny Robin, right? That's Jason Todd and Damian.
Yeah, he was whiny back then at that point.
They're very similar.
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm. Defiant, whiny, violent, smart mouth. Yeah. So next up, we're going back to HBO Max for a series that we touched on earlier, and this should be a fun one. We've got Booster Gold coming. So for those who don't know, James Gunn described him perfectly as a loser in the future who uses future tech to time travel to the past to become a superhero to feel good about himself, basically. And
this is understood how such a good-looking kid can be a loser. I never understood that. Anyways,
I wonder if everyone looks better in the future with all the advancements and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the one almost everyone across the board would be is excited for, because each one seems to have that little nugget of, I don't know who that is, or I'm not ready for change. But Booster Gold is the one I felt like everyone should be like, this is exciting. It's a fresh, clean slate that people have been asking for a long time.
Yeah, and also the cult following thing, he touched on that with it as well. Like, it's another Lobo-like character. What's up? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're whispering too soft. We'll get something. Any more thoughts on Booster Gold? At this point, we're way years into the future as well.
Yeah.
I think he's a character that's hard to mess up. Like Deadpool. It's just hard to mess up.
Yeah. Let's see. Was Booster Gold's suit passed down? I don't believe so. I think it was stolen.
Yeah. I thought
Didn't he steal that stuff? Like Skeets in the suit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Like he's not rich.
No. She's muted. DJ.
Pratt is Booster could happen.
So it could happen. It definitely could happen. I'm just afraid at this point we're looking at too far down the line. It would require a new actor. I think that it'd be hard to fan cast anything for this far out in the future. Right. Just think of how different the landscape of available actors and actresses will be at that point, and who will be hot and who will not. Who on their own accord will probably want to spend some time with their family, as a lot of actors do once they start hitting the 40s and 50s. You know, you're seeing that more often now than we used to back in the day. But Chris Pratt definitely would be a good one just on face value. And someone else pointed out, I think it was, God, I can't remember. I want to say it was Team that pointed out the actor who played in Maverick is Hangman. That I'm like, dude, that's the guy. That
He's
would
a
be great.
Yeah, he's be perfect booster gold.
He stole a Legion ring, a suit, and a force field belt from the Legion of Superheroes Museum.
Yeah,
I believe that's how it went.
he's
That
a thief.
sounds
Like
right.
he's not a rich guy.
No, he's a loser.
Hmm.
Yeah, Chris. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think casting Skeets is going to be paramount for the success of this character and his interaction. And much like how Eddie Brock communicates with the symbiote suit, and they have that back and forth, it's actually cringy and horrible to watch on screen because those are two of the most terrible comic movies to have ever existed. If you don't get Skeets right, you'll be right back in that situation, morbing your balls off to what should have been a good movie.
I got nothing.
Nothing. I still want Seth Meyers as Ted Kord. Dude, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Alan Tudyk would be a great Skeets because, he'll have a little bit of age on him at that point, like we're talking like 8 years from now. But Alan, and he's awesome. He played Mr. Nobody in Doom Patrol. He played the pirate in Dodgeball. He's been in countless movies. I think that
He's
would
a
be great.
voice actor as well. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
He played one of the droids in one of the Star Wars movies. I can't think of which one it was now.
He had only one line, and it was Roger. Sorry. Roger.
Said, never tell me the odds.
Yeah. All right. Next up, this is another one I'm big excited about because I was screaming this book's praises from the day that it dropped to the day that it ended. I'm excited to see that other people had started picking it up and reading it. Even before this announcement, this book started making the rounds on just its story hype value alone. And this is the masterclass in writing, Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tom King, beautifully illustrated by Bill S. Everly. This tells the story of Supergirl at 21 years old getting kind of pulled into a revenge story for this young girl and going on a cosmic adventure of learning, and it's outrageous. It is insane. Crypto appears in this book. Comet appears in this book, and they go in on it. This is a intense heartthrob, like throw the book up at times, just amazing story. And he said that they wanted to adapt this one. They're not.
That's the case. It needs to be visually stunning. I'm talking like Avatar type of stunning. This story is visually beautiful to look at. Never mind how much of a mastercraft of the storytelling that's inside of it. It is just beautiful to look at as well. And to have such a jaded Supergirl, like it's just so good. I think it was on everyone's top 10 list the year that it came out. Like,
if they read it, for sure.
If they read it. It's like We Live. It's just phenomenal from start to finish.
And like I mentioned, he said that he's adapting this one, and he described it perfectly, but in a lot less words. And he wants to make it the film to be a very cosmic sci-fi epic style movie. So they're taking the character of Supergirl and they're going to give us what I can only assume would be that film that has the tone and style of the crazy colors and visuals and stuff, because that's what the book itself is. And tonally, that's what the film should be.
You're totally correct.
Yeah, Paul, what are your thoughts on some Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow?
Could not have picked a better story. Absolutely.
Oh,
yes. See, I told you.
Yeah, K2SO, dude. He was that smart aleck robot. Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah, that's perfect.
Thank you, Travis. You saved me. Yeah, it's like if you're gonna do a Supergirl story, that's the one you got to do, because it has been the Supergirl story of the past 20 years, probably, if not longer.
Helen Slater
is Supergirl. And did you
She
see?
could be the bartender in one scene.
Obviously, they like automatically sold out of the collected editions at Amazon. Everywhere you couldn't get them. You still can't get them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and Amazon and most, they basically anywhere you go to try to find the collected edition, you can't find it anymore.
So DC's plan worked to not make movies anymore and just not announce they're closing the film studio and just boost their comic sales.
Exactly.
We've all been had.
We've all been had. Unless you were one of the ones that picked up the book, then you're fine. Just read it and you'll be good. You'll be good.
Right. So Tom King was appearing at a comic store this past week, and because you couldn't get the collected edition anywhere, he went to his closet, found every single comp issue that he had of the Supergirl maxi series, signed each one, and brought them to the comic store to give away to people.
That's a play. That's a boss move right there. That's a creator player move. Like when you care about your, because he could have just said, "Well, I'll get something else." Well, they want this.
Yeah.
They want this. I'm proud of this body of work.
Yeah, this is the most
Brilliant marketing
anti-LL
by Gunn.
story you'll ever read. Like people that think, oh, they're cousins, they're so much alike.
No,
Read this.
no.
Read this. They
It
are
is great in a sense.
so
Like,
far away.
like it
from
doesn't look like
LL.
we're getting beat to hell with origin stories either. Because if you read this book, which I highly recommend everybody does, and don't wait for this movie, read it as soon as possible. You'll see how origin stories should be told in superhero movies because they touch on Supergirl's time on Krypton. They touch on her time on Argo City when it's a floating chunk of Krypton in space, and the fact that she lost her people not once, not twice, but 3 times if you're counting the abandonment she feels with Earth. She doesn't have that connection like Cal does. She wasn't raised there, but it is tragic watching Argo City try to save themselves while the ground they stand on is slowly becoming irradiated kryptonite, and they're plating the ground and buying themselves time just to slow die of radiation. But like it is a tragic character that it is insane watching her go through this journey, finding herself while trying to save this little girl from herself. It is next level. It really is. Origin stories start with conception. In Frozen, he played the Duke of Westruun. Yeah. It has been a while since we've had a good. Some would argue this never happened. Mm-hmm. A good Supergirl was on Smallville, though. I love Smallville.
It was good.
Mm-hmm. So we're now to the final announcement of the whole slate. And this is one that, man, if you are a comic book fan, if you're a DC fan, if you are a horror movie fan, this is a property that's been around since the early 80s. We've had 2 feature films, 2 television shows, an animated show, toy lines. He's been present in pop culture in some form or fashion for decades, and they're finally going to push him to try to make him a household name. It looks like we are getting a Swamp Thing feature film. And again, if you look at this photo, Chris, do that motion again?
Just give it to me.
So again, if you look at this image, that's actually the cover from Swamp Thing Winter Special, written by who? Tom King. So we're seeing a lot of Tom King influences in here, but that was a gorgeous story. But needless to say, big Swamp Thing fan. Can't wait for this. Hopefully this is a gateway to Justice League Dark. If you listen to a lot of these news announcements and other people having talked about these announcements over the week, we were talking about this before the show. People are getting this one a little wrong, and I don't want to say that. Chris, can you explain it? Because I always sound like a douche when I explain things.
Sure. It's simple. People heard the word totally when he actually said tonally, T-O-N. So the perfect example would be people say the city that I'm born in is Toronto. People from Toronto say it's Toronto. Drop that second T. James Gunn actually does say tonally. It's not totally away from the DCU. Why would they put such an important IP away from what they're doing? Hopefully we get Parliament. Hopefully we get Poison Ivy. Hopefully we get everyone that's connected to the green in this. And on top of it all, make it dark and sinister, and possibly the return of John Constantine to DC films.
Yeah, so there's already rumors about that. Nothing is confirmed. Keanu has been out there talking about he would be happy to come back. They're still wide open. They're doing that whole, like, they probably don't have definitive answers, or either they're just already playing stuff close to the vest. But a lot of these announcements and stuff, we keep hearing people say that Swamp Thing is not connected to the DCU, blah, blah, blah. But if you listen to his statement, he says Swamp Thing is going to be tonally different, and it's going to be its own horror style vibe. It's going to be darker, grittier. James Mangold is already being rumored as being asked to direct it. We're looking at a very, very long time from now. Then again, who knows if these movies won't get shifted around or moved. Paul, what are your thoughts now that you just got to the stream? Swamp Thing.
Everything you said was entirely correct, except for Chris. I'm supposed to not agree with Chris, apparently, according to Roscoe. Swamp Thing. You can't give me enough Swamp Thing. I wish the series was still going on. It was that good. So yeah, I mean, it's they're at such a place now. I think with all the CGI and everything that they can do, that it's not going to look like a guy in a big plastic, you know,
Garbage
costume that
bag.
has moss taped to it. You know, so um, it definitely is something that I'm definitely looking forward to. Um, Matt Ryan should play Constantine. Yeah, I would be
Yeah,
up for that.
I was going to touch on that here because now we're at the end of the slate here. So Grant Gustin is Flash. Matt Ryan is I'm a big hell no when it comes to all of those things. I don't I don't see Matt Ryan as a so I just have like in my mind I don't know why or how it does it. It just naturally like categorizes actors as having silver screen presence or television presence. I don't see Matt Ryan with a television or I mean a silver screen presence.
Costco.
He just doesn't. I think Matt Ryan was fantastic in the one season show. I think he was great in his appearances on the CW stuff. I think he's great as the voice actor in the animated stuff. I would want somebody. I think I would want somebody brand new at this point. I would love a Constantine 2 following up on the other one, but at this point, I don't think that's what we need to be doing in terms of the DCU as a brand as a whole. But I loved Constantine with Keanu Reeves. But I would be more interested to see a new actor come in. And to Taylor Winder's point, I wouldn't be totally against the idea of a Levi Kamei Swamp Thing, even though he already did mention we're getting Alec Holland and looking at the tormented origins of this character, which I'm more excited to start with an Alec Holland. We really need to with this one.
To be honest, I don't think Swamp Thing needs John Constantine for the first iteration of a film. Again, I would much rather see Poison Ivy as the villain of that film, or we could just dive into Parliament
Drew.
all. Like, yeah, there's so many good tales of Swamp Thing over the last 40 years that we can draw from. It's just pick your poison and move forward that way.
So this brings us to our next announcement right here that they covered on, and they did this at the beginning. So what of the Batman? What of Teen Titans Go? What of the Joker? What of the remaining properties if Superman and Lois were to continue on CW for that mythical one or two more seasons? Well, James Gunn did announce, like at the beginning of this, that it's no secret DCU has been very disconnected for many years. And what they're going to do moving forward is to make sure anything that's outside of this connected story that they're building is clearly represented and branded as Elseworld, which I think is fantastic, where they're setting themselves aside from the restraint of one connected universe and they're able to tell more stories. They're able to do different stuff. And I know that's a tall order for a general audience, I think, but they can do Constantine 2 with Keanu. They can do Matt Reeves the Batman 2, which is confirmed, and they can do more if the public wants it, if they see a desire for it, it would make sense. And they can do Joker Part 2. But how do y'all feel about having these Elseworld stories opposed to just one connected universe?
I'm a huge proponent of the Elseworlds. He also did address briefly the DC animated universe that they have that they're putting on. And he said the same thing, that the DVDs that they put out every once in a while, like once a quarter or whatever, that some of them may tie into what's going on in the larger universe, but other ones would be branded as Elseworlds as well, and would just kind of be on their own. And that's almost like you can have your cake and eat it too. You get the
Mhm.
you get the best of both worlds.
And I don't think it's too far fetched of an idea for the general public at this point, having the concept of multiverses, which DC really kickstarted many, many decades ago, and Marvel really brought home to a general audience with the MCU. I don't think it's far fetched of a concept. Like even if you don't do Marvel and you do superhero stuff, you saw it on the CW Crisis. We've seen it with Flash stuff forever. We've seen it with the MCU doing a whole phase on the concept of multiverses and stuff. And so it's really just it's not crazy anymore. It's very digestible, I think, at this point. What do you think, Chris?
If Michelle Yeoh can make a fantastic movie on the whole idea of multiple universes, then the public is ready for it. I think Marvel could learn something from this part. The whole idea of an Elseworlds is something that should have been tagged years ago. Sony could have, like, this is where the part where Marvel could have learned something by branding half the Sony stuff as Elseworlds or Disconnect or whatever.
Just
whatever you want to put on it. Like, yeah, I'm
what if
happy about
Venom
this.
was a dumpster fire?
Right. It just, what?
I said, what if Venom was a dumpster fire?
I thought you meant what if was a dumpster fire. Like, what if was
No.
but no, I'm happy that they've done this because again, I'm not a fan of the Batman. I wouldn't want to see Pattinson as the new Batman moving forward. But yeah, it's the right thing to do, and it gives the whole animated feature film that they do is just, obviously they're terrific. It gives me hope that now DC versus vampires or zombies now could become films, and I mean animated films. This gives me hope that now that some of these good stories that they've been doing over the last 10 years can continue to become DC film properties, like the Killing Joke, the travesty that the Killing Joke was. But yeah, those type of films can continue to be made.
Fan of that movie, huh? They changed it too much.
The second and third act was good.
The rooftop scene was way too much, man. Like, what? What's that? Can we check some IDs here before you do that?
Yeah.
Not appropriate.
This is the one time I believe Alan Moore should be pissed off. But
y'all did not check with Alan before this. What if annoyed me because I was hoping for comic stories? They just rehashed their movie. Well, yeah, I was thinking the same thing when they announced What If, but as we got closer and I saw what they're doing, I'm like, okay, this actually makes common sense. Why wouldn't they what if what they've been showing us for the past 11 years? Like this is the 11 years worth of stories in this medium that they were telling. So of course they're going to
what if MCU. It's not what if Marvel. Yeah. It's what if MCU.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Recast Batman, please. The last one was awful. Nah, they are recasting him for The Brave and the Bold. But
I thought Affleck did a terrific job.
I think he's talking about Pattinson.
Oh,
Has Hoarder's Hide taken over Jean Malo's?
Yeah, Jean, I'm with you. I did not like Pattinson.
Yeah, I was talking to a panel earlier today with what's his name? Who Dat Comics. He disliked it because he wasn't big enough. I'm like, it doesn't have to be. But that's my. I
didn't like him not for sheer girth. I didn't care about
who's winning the race. Comics by the Bay. All right, y'all got anything else y'all want to touch on before we run this giveaway and we make like a baby and head out?
Yeah, no, let's make like a plane and jet.
Paul, are you ready to make like a banana and split?
I can make like a tree and leaf.
Well, let's do it then. I'm going to share my screen here. And again, these are the let's see. Chrome tab, Wheel of Names. These are the people that are in the Legion tier, which is that higher tier. And we have a lot more people that have joined today. There's a lot more people that joined today who will be included on the wheel for next week. Again, there are the two tiers. There's the Legion supporter tier and then the Legion tier. If you feel like you would like to upgrade your tier by then, you can get added to the list of names. I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all make this happen. Should I show the books off before I spin this?
Sure.
Shit,
what are we going to win?
Let me show what people are going to win. I'm going to do this real quick so I ain't got to wait. I can do this. I can remove that. There we go. Then do this one. Yeah, there we go. So Legal Burning donates stuff to the giveaway as well and get some of his art out there. I've been holding this one back. This is Captain America. This is
the color work is perfect.
Politics are never in comics. Nah, that's not true. Look at that. But actual war propaganda. A certificate of authenticity, cap number 1 homage, number 5 of 200. It's a print of his work. Obviously, that's not like an original piece. Those go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And we have this gorgeous, gorgeous Jack Kirby edition to go with it with some Thor and Loki behind it. Like that is just, this hurts giving this one away. Hurts giving it away. And then we have a Tech 27 Facsimile. That whole first appearance of Joe Fixit Facsimile that came out this week. And then I'm throwing in a Captain Atom number 83 from Modern Comics. That's the first appearance of Ted Kord Blue Beetle in there. They did the Charlton Comics ones and they did the Modern Comic ones after that. So it's a great copy to have to check out that and start your Blue Beetle collection. And then from Big Time Collectibles, we have Exterminators, cover by Jay Anacleto. This was limited to 3,000 for the trade dress.
It's a good read.
We have this gorgeous Ken Lashley Mandalorian cover right here. This is the Virgin variant, limited to 1,000. And then we have this beautiful Edge of Spider-Verse #1 by Felipe Massafera.
Incredible.
Gorgeous book. Like, look at that. Look
awesome.
at that. Like, his artwork is next level.
Awesome.
What is going on? Mad Spidey is up in the building. Got here just in time. And then this beautiful, chromed out of its mind, Batman #something by Miko Suion. I think is this Deadly Duo, Paul, or is this?
I think it's a Deadly Duo. Yeah.
No.
Big Time Collectibles variant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's isn't obviously the lighting is tough with this light, but man, the details on this are wicked. That is just a dope cover. And then to top it all off, let's see, if you're a channel member, throw those custom emojis in there, the Austin over Peach, because we have a 1-of-1 Austin LeMay, Something is Killing the Children, #11.
The dragon.
With the dragon on there. A few months back, we gave away the Erica Slaughter cover. This is the companion one to it. I don't remember who won that Erica Slaughter one, but here's your chance to own an Austin LeMay 1-of-1.
Well, it wasn't me, but I'm hoping for that one then.
And of course, Austin's got the sticker that'll be included with it as well, that come with all when you purchase any of his pieces. So yeah, I'm excited to see who's going to win this. It pains me to have to give it away. So here we go. Here's the wheel. Are y'all ready? I have not shuffled these names yet. So I definitely do need to do that, unfortunately. So we're going to shuffle till y'all tell me to stop.
Paul?
Please stop.
That was the greatest stop ever.
Yeah. Please stop. So we throw all these back in the bag again. You can get in on the action by joining the channel membership in the Legion tier or higher. Thank you to everyone who's joined. As of the end of this stream, I think I'm up to like 86 members now, if I'm doing my mental counting right. Something is Wearing the Sneakers. That would be a great title of a book. We all know how it ends, DJ. We all know how it ends. All right, so here we go. Let's spin this in 3, 2, 1. And the winner of the January Legion Loot giveaway. And then I'll show y'all some of the stuff I picked up to go into the future ones right after this.
Ooh.
Team Nerdy.
Travis. Wow, nice.
So huge congrats to Team Nerdy. That's perfect because I have another book that I was about to send him. I was about to send him that Return of Superman because he didn't have a polybag one. Stop. Congrats, Travis. You just got a banger of a box.
Well, Travis, if you're not a Something is Killing the Children fan, I can help you out. Or Spider-Man.
Hope he didn't leave the chat before he won. So yeah, everyone's giving him congrats.
He's putting some clothes on right now.
we're taking them off.
Or taking them off. I don't know which one. Yeah.
Frig, yeah, dude. Huge congrats. So these are some books that I picked up. Casting Couch Rig. So here's some books that I picked up to go into future ones. I picked up a copy of the first appearance of OMAC, the Jack Kirby creation at DC Comics. I picked up an X-Men Annual 14, the first appearance of Gambit. Will be going into future ones here. Marvel Spotlight on Star-Lord #6, which is the first appearance of Star-Lord in comic form because he did premiere in the magazine stuff first. So we got some Star-Lord action. And then we picked up a Nova #1 slab.
Nice.
So got some cool Marvel stuff to go in there too. I know not everyone is as diehard on DC and like some Marvel too. So when I find stuff at good prices, I grab it. I had an opportunity to get out and look. So I'll be sprinkling those through with other stuff and trying to find some more stuff when I get a chance. So picking up more stuff, and that's where your donations or your membership money goes. It goes into purchasing stuff to put back out into the channel. Too bad, bro. It's way too late. Go to bed. But that's going to be it for tonight. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. There's a decent crowd tonight. It was fun talking this stuff. I'll win that Marvel lot. That's not all just going to be pieced together in one. There's going to be stuff here and there I was just trying to grab some stuff when I come across it and stack up stuff. I have that Austin slab I've had for months and months, spacing stuff out and doing stuff in between. But yeah, I try to pick up stuff when I can. You know, a lot of this stuff ain't cheap. The value of these boxes far exceed the actual YouTube budget that I'm working with. But I appreciate everyone hopping in. I hope you all had a good time. Chris, got any announcements or anything you want to?
Nah.
Paul?
No, just look for the next DC Comics Deep Dive tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock.
Also, our good friend, the Comic Viking, is holding his second Viking book club. It'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right here on YouTube. The Comic Viking is the channel name. The January read of the month was Kingdom Come. That's why we've been talking about it so much. It's just been a hot topic, as it should be from time to time. But we'll be diving in deep on that. Open panel if you reach out to the Comic Viking or Beckerman Likes Comics, as long as they have room on the panel. They can add you in there. Otherwise, come hang out in the chat. If you haven't read it, it'll still be a great place. It'll be a fun hangout. It's not just like, this isn't a library study. It's a comic book hangout book club. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. Yeah. I appreciate everybody. Anything else, Chris?
If you want to find out if I've finally watched The Princess Bride, tune in Wednesday.
And you also have a big channel member giveaway, your first one Wednesday as well, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'll be giving the first Comic Army box will be given away to everyone that's joined the channel membership. It's I think a pretty good prize pack for the first time out, and we'll see who it goes to.
So you heard that.
Thanks, Mark.
A Comic Army box will be given away to everybody who's joined the Comic Army. His words. His words.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I appreciate everyone coming in. Again, if you're one of the new members, if you just joined tonight or if you were gifted a membership, please reach out to me on Instagram so I can get a new member welcome packet out to you. We got stickers, magnets, all kinds of fun little goodies. So it's free shipping, everything. So yeah, that first membership goes right to that. So there you go. And until next time, everybody, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.
And you're welcome to come use one of the 8 easels we have set up for creating art here at the show for consideration for our art auctions on Saturday for our major auction at 8 p.m. at the Westin Ballroom. And the smaller auctions we'll have here on the convention floor on Sunday starting at noon.
That's a flash from the past.
So any artist